The arithmetic precedence, or the order of operations, is similar in Python to those in general mathematics. So mostly the power and positive, negative, multiplication and divisions, and finally the lowest are addition and subtraction. However, because in Python we use parentheses in order to include some operations, so the highest priority is given to these in order to solve the parentheses, or to transfer the values to the functions first. So first, let's say minus, before the first one, it goes minus 3 to the power 2 minus 3 to the power 2. Now here, maybe you think that the power has higher precedence to negative. So let's make a simple test. To the power 3, 2, and see the result. So as you see here, the number 3 will be, or the value of 3 will be raised to the power 2 before given the negative sign. In other words, if you want to include the negative sign within the power, so you have to do something very simple, either to use minus 3 within parentheses, or to use the function power, because in the first line, minus is outside the power operation. So keep this in mind. Minus 3 to the power 2 minus 3 to the power 2, and it will be minus 18. Now, the same thing, we can repeat it, minus 4 to the power 2 plus 6, and 6 multiplied by 2. So here we have the option. We can include the 2 inside a bigger parenthesis like this, but we have to put 9 plus 3 inside a parenthesis in order to keep them under the division operator. So in this way, we can get the correct result. Or we can eliminate the outer parenthesis and get the same result. The next one is the square root of 16 plus 3 squared over 2 minus 1/3. Now, currently, let's use the power function for the square root, and later we'll see how to import the square root function into Python. But now let's use the power function, so it will be power and of 16 plus 3. Now we can use power function, but instead of using power, we can use the both, and the square root is 0.05, or 1/2. The same. Over, again, we need to open parentheses. 2 minus 1/3, and we close the parentheses. Notice here that we don't have any problem with 1/3 because the precedence, or the priority of division, is above the subtraction. So for that reason, we know that it will 2 minus 1/3. It will not 2 minus 1/3. So for that reason, we don't need additional parentheses like this. This will be too many. You can add it. It will not be wrong as long as the number of open parentheses equal to the closing ones, no problem. But again, it's the best way is to keep the number of parentheses as minimum as possible. So by enter, we got 3. Also, this could be written again the result is the same. So we can use either the power function or the double stars as long as we know exactly how to represent our data. The next one is exponential. So it is 2 to the power square root. Again, we can use the power function. So 2 is the first argument. The second argument, again, is another power. So it is power. And inside the power function, we have the absolute value of minus 16 minus power 49, and let's use 0.5 this time, so it's a square root. Now this is what is inside the power, so we need a comma, and then since it's square root, so 0.5, and then we close the parenthesis in this way. Now 8. Now again, we can use the double star. Always keep in mind to use the parentheses economically. That means don't use too many parentheses because they could be very confusing. Yes, there could be safer, but too many parentheses could be very confusing for the reader. Now the next one is using the exponential of 10. And this will be the value. Now we need to define a. Let's write random numbers for a and x. So if we say a is equals to 8, b equals to, let's say, minus 3. It's not necessarily to I'm given any random numbers actually, so not so. And x equals 1. So we can say y equals to a multiplied by x to the power 2 plus b. Don't forget the multiplication sign. So we get the value of y here in this case. Notice that we can add spaces for clarity. In both cases, the result should be the same. Now, if we're going to write the values of x, so we use, for example, we can use x. So x1 is complex number. Again, we can do the same thing with the negative. So x2 this time be minus, and that's it. So if we x2, we get the other, which is the complex conjugate of the previous solution. So these are the way we can express the mathematical formulae in Python.